It's got a song called Tiff and Portia.
Stop standing now when we question our freedom. When they ask us what our rights are, they say, yeah, don't need them. What a mistake that is to say. We live in a land we ought to be free. It's not seeming that's how it is shaping to be. The Constitution is supposed to guide us. Our government is taking it away and trying to deprive us. Our kids are taken every day by CPS agents looking for prey. They don't give a damn about the Constitution. We have found the one and only solution. There's a couple of people you should know. Tiff and the Punisher is their show. They want to stop CPS from stealing our kids, fighting beside us and trying to guide us. Tiff has a heart of gold. She blasts these caseworkers when they are wrong. She beats them down with the knowledge, better than the kids who are in college. The Punishers abolish all the way. He's been here 4 years, they took his daughter away. He came from the darkness he was in. Now it's time to make parenting great again. Together they are making a commotion, telling all the parents use the Constitution potion. You have rights, did you know? Learn to use them on Tiff and Punisher show. We all admit the times are hard. No little children in the front yard. Tiff and Punisher are fighting so hard. They are waging war on the side of God. They don't stop if they get in trouble. They are fighting for the children, double trouble. The strength they need they get from each other. They have each other's like sister and brother. They are Tiff and the Punisher, saving the families from corruption. They want you to join their movement, no reproaching. You need to learn a thing called the Constitution. Inside that document is our selection. CPS, we have your number. We coming for you, hear our thunder. Your fate is sealed, have a nice day. You won't break another family, no more trauma for kids, that's like blasphemy. Keep your thoughts to your own ideals. Soon enough you'll be clicking your heels, cause you need to go to jail. All of us fathers will be chugging down an ale. The mothers will squeeze their young ones tight. The CPS workers are locked down for the night. They had a choice they didn't make. Now they spend their days in crates. They should know it's wrong to kidnap. So from all of us, this is your pay. There's a couple of people you should know. Tiff and the Punisher is their show. They want to stop CPS from stealing our kids, fighting beside us and trying to guide us. Tiff has a heart of gold. She blasts these caseworkers when they are wrong. She beats them down with her knowledge, better than the kids who are in college. The Punishers abolish all the way. He's been here 4 years, they took his daughter away. He came from the darkness he was in. Now it's time to make parenting great again. Together they are making.
If your veins run red, white, and blue, you're in the right place. The Angry Citizen is here, and trust me, he's as American as they come. The Angry Citizen doesn't just talk the talk. He lives by the Constitution every single day. He's a fighter, a protector, and he's got your back. In a world where standing up for freedom isn't always easy, he stands tall, unapologetic, unafraid, and unbreakable. We're beyond proud to welcome him to the Tiff and Punisher team, joining our mission to defend what matters most. So buckle up, patriots. You're about to hear from a man who believes that America's best days are still ahead. Stay tuned, because this is just the beginning.
They are taking our kids every day. A child a minute, no one has a thing to say for those who have been isolated. Don't be worried, you have a voice today. So listen up everyone, here is the story. Child Protective Services is real. CPS is what they call it. They want our kids because it fills a lot of people's wallet. We all think it won't be us. We say when they come we will be so tough. It all sounds good when there's no one to take them. But when they come, your voice gets to breaking. Stay calm, step away. CPS ain't taking no one today. We are educated. Stay calm, step away. CPS, you need to leave. I know the tricks up your sleeves. You can't do what you're trying to do. We've done our homework. Don't do a damn thing without a warrant. You no longer will steal our kids this way. Tiff and the Punisher have come for the calling. They are giving us the CPS warning. Their voice is loud and clear. We stop losing our kids this year. Tiff wants to fight the entire planet. She is tired of our kids being taken, god damn it. She's been fighting CPS for 30 years, bringing children home from this disgusting mess. The Punisher is screaming out loud, abolish CPS and tear it down. I want all our kids to come back. Look at all those kids' pictures held up like thin tags. Together we are stronger than we need. We will tear down CPS with high speed. We will do so much being together. Birds of a feather flock together. So watch out CPS, here we come. Picking you one by one. We promise to bring back the family and prosecute the caseworkers unhandily. Give us back the kids you have taken. Tiff and the Punisher sending you all on a vacation. The one with bars in the windows and the only games you play are on Nintendos. Corruption in courts, here we come. We won't stop until it's done. You judges need to learn what you stand for. This is Tiff and the Punisher warrior, and we cry out to all of you out there. We need support for a cause that many don't care. All children are being stolen way too often. So CPS, we plan on doing the stopping. Stop.
Tiff, guess who we got? Guess who we got tonight?
Who?
We got the Angry Citizen with us. Let's bring him out.
Oh, I love that guy.
Yeah, he's coming with us on Thursdays now. Here
What's
he
up,
is.
guys?
What's up,
How you
man?
doing?
We're good. We're real good. We got you here.
That's
now,
good
man.
stuff.
So-
That music and the title of the intro there, man. That's good stuff. So thanks for the logo, bro. That's freaking awesome.
Oh yeah, we gotta put that up. I gotta find that. Let me put that up here.
Dude, I
That's what
love
was trying to
that.
click.
It's so awesome.
I was trying to click on that. I thought I had already put it up here, but I'm gonna.
My
put
friends
it
are all like,
Oh,
"Man,
there it
that is you. That is totally you." Yeah, there
it
you
is.
go.
You're right there in the flesh.
Love it.
Boom.
Freaking love
Wow.
it, man. Thanks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I
My
put that on my
intro-
YouTube channel now. So that's my
Oh,
new
good.
logo for my YouTube.
Excellent. That's awesome.
Thanks.
It's so good. Oh, now we'll have to put a little one of him in these, right?
Family is the most important thing we have.
It's about time we stand up for the kids.
Wow,
Yeah, huh? We need to
Well,
put one of you in there, baby.
you're pretty creative.
I'm like a little multimedia extravaganza on one little
Yeah.
party.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
very much. I'm
I
glad
told
we're
him to
done.
stop making me look so good. Now I got to compete with my little cartoon self.
It's tough.
Oh.
Yeah. So what's going on, Dana? What have you been doing, man? I was early
You know,
retirement.
I've been on vacation, so I've been kind of being a little bit lazy. I've gotten a few good things done, but mostly just been lazy. And you know, I needed it, and I've been feeling a lot of stress and anxiety lately, and I think a lot of people have. Like a lot of people I know just have been going through really difficult time, feeling anxious, and you know, just like there's just this sort of oppression in the air. It's just, I don't know. I'm hoping it's going to lead to something productive, some
Right, like
major win.
you're waiting for something to happen, right? Are you waiting
Yes.
for something to happen? Like you just like something is going to happen. I don't know what it is, but something is going to happen, and that's how
Some accountability, man. We want to see some of these people, some of these
put Obama in
fuckers that
jail.
are
Yes,
positions
put
of
him in jail.
power get convicted for the crimes we all see them committing, and finally have our day, finally be vindicated, you know. And I'm tired of waiting, man. I'm still seeing Anthony Fauci. I'm still seeing, you know, Barack Obama walking free, Hillary Clinton walking free. You know, it's just, it's so frustrating. But I'm hopeful, man. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. You know, I'm hopeful. We just got to keep going, and you know, at least when we are seen by history, we'll be seen accurately, and they'll know that we did not sit around and not do anything about the injustices that were going on in the world, especially when it comes to the critical subject of children being kidnapped by government agents, which is a vile abomination, absolutely vile. So
Yeah, no, it is, and it's coming. It is coming. If there's one thing to be said, that this man that is our president, I think he's saving the best for last. I really do, because there's part of us that have been saying that we are part of this whole movement. There's part of us that are saying, you know, are we looking at the taillights? Did they forget about us with the Doge stuff, with all of this, or is this thing just so damn big that they had to take this for last? Because, like I say, this thing funds our economy. I mean, children being kidnapped, put into trafficking, just trafficking in general in this country, is funding our economy. There's no doubt about it. You know, like I keep saying this over and over. You don't see states in deficits anymore, but you know what you do see? An increase in kids in foster care, or an increase in TPRs, or an increase. You know, like it's crazy. It's absolute. Debbie, what are you saying? Did you hear about the little 3-year-old that was in foster care? A driver picked him up from daycare, was supposed to take him to see his mom and dad, but she went home and left him in a hot car. I did hear about yeah. How the hell do you leave your kid in a hot car?
dude,
Run for air conditioning.
I don't know. I've never understood that. I just don't get that.
No, I mean, I carry around a computer that actually says this on it, just because I never want to be in that category. It says, honk if the kid falls out, you know, just in case. You never know, you know. So
I need that sign, because Kyra likes to open the damn door while I'm driving down the road.
Don't say that. Don't say that too loud on this. You know damn well they'll be knocking at your door, and then we'll see what they got coming to them. You know, has Dana ever seen your video? Have you ever seen the video of Tiff when the sheriffs come to her house?
No.
Oh, let me find that. Let me find that for you. It's quite impressive. And speaking of sheriffs,
I don't take no shit off on any of them. I don't give a damn what they're. I wore my badge of authority. Ain't nobody got no authority over me but me.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
Right. And when you don't have the authority, you're supposed to be able to call the sheriffs.
Exactly.
They're supposed to be there for us.
That's what they're supposed to do. Yep.
Well, they need to stop getting involved in civil matters and go fight crime, because all of Frederick County was in my yard that night, and somebody could have been being murdered or robbed or whatever, but no, they want to waste their time here with me screaming and yelling at them.
Mm-hmm. That's the facts too. Dana, what's your say on the sheriffs and what their initiatives are and what they're supposed to do?
Well, the sheriffs are the absolute lifetime for the people. We have to be accountable. And they're our allies, and they're supposed to be. They're elected by we the people at the county level. Their primary job is to protect our rights and investigate crimes. But you know, as a nation, we have to remember that we We're not really involved with politics. People are saying, you know how people say, I don't get involved in politics. I don't do politics. I hate politics. Well, you kind of have to be, because if you're not, then things go south. So we've got all these people in office, and the sheriff doesn't even really need to be qualified. All they need to do is persuade people to vote for them. And so whoever gets the votes gets into the office, and they can do whatever they want. And especially if we're not really holding them accountable, which we're not, you know, uh, and they're a mix. There are good sheriffs out there, and there are some not good sheriffs out there. And there's quite a few sheriffs that don't really do too much because it's kind of a cushy position, and they're really happy making a paycheck and for as many times as they can get elected and then retiring. But the sheriff is the supreme law enforcement authority in the county, and then no one supersedes their authority. No one, literally no one. And we have to stop as a nation thinking about. I hate when people talk about federal agents and federal bureaus. Federal for most people now means that their authority trumps local authority, and that's backwards. That's backwards. Our authority trumps federal authority. The federal government has no authority. They have no authority to come into a state and start messing around with the people of that state. And we have to get out of that mindset. We're brainwashed as a nation into thinking that's okay. A federal agent can come and ask you questions and interrogate you and strip you of your God-given constitutional protected rights. But they can't do it lawfully. It's unlawful. They're committing a crime when they're doing it, and the sheriff is to protect us. So we have to start cultivating that as a nation. You got to get to know your sheriff. You got to talk to your sheriff. Ask him straight up. Did you swear an oath when you got into the office? And what was the oath you swore? They swear an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state. And they're supposed to be doing it. And if they're not, they're criminals, straight up. So if we held them accountable, they would start behaving responsibly. All of them would, not just the ones that are stand up and are doing the job. And there are some. I did an interview with a sheriff out in Michigan. His name is Sheriff Darley. You can see it on my YouTube channel. And he stood up to the governor of Michigan when she started issuing her unconstitutional orders, or so-called lockdowns, which there's no such thing as a lockdown to a civilian population by the governor or the president or anyone. They don't have the authority to order you to stay in your house or hold your business. This guy stood right up to the governor, who's an absolute traitor, the governor of Michigan. Gretchen Whitmer is a traitor and a criminal, and he stood up to her and he said, no, you're not going to order around the people of my county. And of course he got attacked for it, but he was one of the only people that was nationwide willing to speak out publicly, and he did. He came on my podcast, and I had that conversation with him, and he's a man who's principled. He stands by his oath, and he works for we the people, and he's not afraid to speak out against tyranny. So if we had more people like him, more sheriffs like him, we would see the power of the federal government shrink very, very rapidly, and they would be put in their place and realize that they don't have authority over we the people. We're sovereign. Like Tiff said, no one has authority over me but me. Yeah, we're sovereign, sovereign men and women, and we have the authority that God gave us when we were born and created, and we the people delegated limited authority to our government, and whatever authority we did not delegate to them, they don't have. That's critical. Everyone in America needs to embrace that, because we let them get away with it. We're letting them, letting the foxes run the hen house, and they're eating the hens, and we're all mad about it. It's going to keep right on happening until we do something about it. So
they're in your messenger, Darren.
You're in my messenger. You got it for me already. You knew what I was doing right there.
I sent you both of them.
All right. So let me get these. But David, so what do you do? Here's the question. $1 million question. What do you do when the sheriffs don't assist you in the way that they're supposed to?
Well, there's not much you can do in terms of trying to make that happen if it's not going to happen. It's a lot like, corruption or like flagrant crime. What do you do if someone points a gun at you and says, give me all your money or I'll kill you? It's not right. It's unlawful. It's morally reprehensible, but you're probably going to give them your money because the alternative is you get shot. Mm-hmm. So what do we do? Well, as a nation, we have to all collectively make our will known to the people that are in charge in positions of power and authority, like the sheriffs. And when you're dealing with people, agents or law enforcement or anyone, it's really important to have every single thing on record. That means when you communicate with them, you use written words, letters, even emails, because there's an audit trail and you can verify what you said if you need to. It's not a guarantee of success, but it makes you much more likely to prevail in the long run and find justice than if you don't. So you have to do everything you can to protect yourself, and that involves keeping very careful and meticulous records about every interaction you have, every conversation. Record them if you can. Use written correspondence. Write to the sheriff. If you have an encounter with a sheriff and the sheriff isn't doing their job, write them a letter and be polite but direct. Here's what I expect out of you. I needed you to step up and help me on this occasion. You refused to. You said blah, 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 whatever it is they said, verbatim, put it in writing and make a stink. And that's all you can do. And if at the end of the day, you can make a big stink, and look at Tiananmen Square in China. Well, they made a pretty big stink, and all those people ended up getting kidnapped, murdered, tortured. The guy standing in front of the tanks, he ain't around, believe me. He is in a prison cell somewhere rotting, or he was executed. More than likely, he was executed. So we're headed that way as a nation. We're slowly eroding. Our rights are slowly eroding, and there's more and more and more power that's held by the federal government that they don't actually have, and we're letting it happen. So you do what you can with what the best you can with what you have, and hope for the best. You guys know better than anyone how the justice system fails, right? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's unlawful or not. If the agents come kidnap your child, you can state that it's unlawful. You can tell them they don't have the authority to do it, and they'll just ignore you and do it anyway. So we got to just keep fighting. That's why we're fighting, because we got to push back, and we got to get enough people to join together to speak with one voice. Literally, why I founded Angry Citizen. That's the whole point. We're all pissed off. We all get pissed off together. We all tell them with one voice, hell no, you're not going to do this anymore. And we demand that the justice be done, that they be charged with crimes and prosecuted according to the law.
I mean, we got a president now that is doing that. So far, so is said.
I'm on the fence about Donald Trump, but I give him the benefit of the doubt, and I judge everything he does specifically on its merits. Avoid the temptation to say, he's great, everything's wonderful, or he's terrible, everything's terrible. You got to look at each thing he does. No matter how much you hate Donald Trump, you have to admit that him sending troops to the border to secure the border was a good move for America. Obviously, we stopped this tidal wave of illegal aliens pouring over the border. I don't see how anyone in America could say that's a bad thing, and that's what we have to do. Judge everything by its merits. Don't, lump everything together and say everything's good or everything's bad. Judge each thing by how it affects us, how it affects we the people. If it works for us, then we should do it, whatever it is. So whenever he does something I approve of, I give him the thumbs up and I say, good job, keep it up. When he does things I don't approve of, I speak out against it.
Exactly.
We all should do.
We should get rid of this goddamn he said, she said, red, blue, all of this shit, and just be like, we are Americans and this is the best for America. The hell with the party sides. Like to what Tiff does, Watch this, Dana. I'm going to show you what happens when the sheriffs come to Tiff's house. This is quite funny. So let's take a look at this here. Let's analyze Tiff's sheriffs, how she deals with sheriffs. Exactly. Oh, they don't have the sound on the body cams. That's what's good.
Got to blow that up. Blow that up, brother.
We need it bigger. All right, hold on a minute. I'm watching it in full screen back here. I'm like, oh, look at me. I can see it myself, but not everybody else. There we go. They're walking up. Look at the amount of police cars at her house for a CPS call.
I don't. But you cannot force her, right? Because then you're taking away her free will. Do you read it? Look what it says. Can you see it? Can you see it? Show her. Please show her.
Okay.
Do you need to read this? Do all of you need a lesson in the Constitution?
Can I talk to you, or are you just gonna yell at me?
I'll talk to you by yourself.
All right. Are you Grandma?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So what's going on today?
Look,
I'm Sergeant Smith, by the way.
I'm Tiffany Wise.
Okay. So what's going
Like
on
I
today?
told her, you cannot force somebody to give up their... Do you see this? I'm not playing. I sit on the NAACP board of criminal justice for a reason. I'm also an advocate for people like my daughter. My grandson ate some CBD gummies, okay? No THC was in them, straight CBD. They were mine. I take them for anxiety and back pain because I have a lot of anxiety because I deal with this.
Okay.
So she was getting off work. I called her. I said, we need to call. I said animal control earlier, but that's not what I meant. I meant the CDC. I said, call the CDC. Tell them there's no, I'm so mad right now. THC is straight CBD. So she did, and they said, well, take him to the emergency room. I'll call ahead. So I said, let's go. So we went to the emergency room. They ran all these tests on him. He's fine.
What type of? Do you know what type? They take blood or urine or something?
They took blood.
Okay.
They hooked him up to an EKG machine, breathing monitor. They hooked him up to all this shit.
Okay.
The baby's fine.
Was he discharged?
Yes.
Okay. So y'all just didn't. You didn't leave, right? Without.
We got discharge papers.
Okay. Okay.
So CPS, I don't care how you look at it, one of the reasons I'm meeting with all these delegates and the Attorney General and all these people is to change their policies. Okay? That's why I'm on the board. I'm going to meet with Wendy Gadias tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, and don't think I'm not bringing this case up.
Right.
Because this is why this shit needs to be reformed. The police department, CPS, child support, and the family court. That all this shit needs to be reformed. Because if you all take an oath to uphold the Constitution, why are you on my property looking for my daughter when you know she has 4th, 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights?
CPS called here.
It doesn't matter what CPS says. They do not have arresting authority. They have no authority. They use you all, wait a minute. They use you all for backup. And you know how else I know this? How ironic is it that my father is a retired police officer, and every time I have an interaction with the police, he reminds me that you all took the oath, or the sheriff took the oath to uphold the Constitution. You're only here for her protection.
Correct.
I know. So why is half of Frederick County and my fucking property, my real property, when I have no trespassing all over it?
If you'd let me talk, I would be able to.
You have to understand my frustration. I've been fighting these people for 30 years.
I understand you're frustrated, but I didn't come up here yelling
I know. I'm irritated and I'm frustrated.
I'm letting you vent, but you need to let me speak my turn, okay? So as you know, CPS brought us here because we are their security.
That's right.
Because people get pissed off, sometimes they get assaulted and things like that.
I'm not gonna put my hands on anybody.
Well, they don't know who you are, okay? They don't know who anybody is when they come up to these types of things. They were concerned because they wanted to initiate a safety plan for you and your daughter and the kid.
That's not gonna happen.
So then they had to talk to their supervisor. I guess they were looking at a possible emergency removal order. I don't know what the process of that is, where they stand with that. But we are not going to enter your house. We don't have a reason to enter your house unless we have an exigent circumstance. If there's an emergency, we can't articulate that there's an emergency going on. Nobody's in there dying. I'm sure you've taken remedies to remove those gummies out of the
stuck them in my purse.
Okay.
And now my
So-
daughter-in-law is scared to leave with her son because she's like, oh my God, Tiffany, what am I going to do? So you're not going to do shit. You're going to sit your ass here until these motherfuckers get off my property. That's what you're going to do.
So we are going to leave in just a couple of minutes as soon as I talk to everybody and let them know what's going on. We're going to leave, okay? Now, if CPS decides to get a court order and for whatever reason or whatever other type of authority tomorrow morning, then that's a different story.
Of course it is.
But as far as right now, tonight, we're going to be leaving in a couple minutes and we're going. Okay?
Thank you. And I appreciate that.
No problem.
And I'm serious. The NAACP president already told her that Sade will be filing a complaint and they are getting involved.
No problem.
That's why I want everybody's name and badge number that's on my property right now, because backup or not, you all know she doesn't have a court order. She cannot remove AJ even if he was here, because there is no more intimate and immediate danger. The immediate danger was when we realized that he ate the gummies and we took him to the hospital. Okay, so it's not like we just sat around here, and kicked it and drank some coffee, because whatever. No, we took him to the hospital.
Right.
So it's not like she was being neglectful. I wasn't being neglectful. He's almost 2. They get into everything.
I understand.
Everything.
I understand.
So I want her off my property, and y'all can leave, because my daughter-in-law is petrified. She said, I ain't going nowhere. I said, well, you can spend the night if they don't leave.
Yep, we're all leaving.
I appreciate it, but you do see that I got my shit.
I understand.
And if they take it to court, I will go down and I will file a order to have AJ put back with Sade, because I know how to do it.
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions?
I want everybody's card. That's all I
don't know
want.
if they've all got cards. But
Then start writing names down. Here, you can even use the back of this. I want everybody's name, badge number. I want it all.
I want it all.
Ain't this some shit.
And in addition, I'm fining all of you $1,000 each. Write the check. Write it now.
Rights, and I do advocate for people. Oh, they were mad.
Need the check.
She tried everything to get in my house. Even after this, she went down there and she was like, well, what are we going to do? He said, ma'am, even with the warrant, we can't execute warrants until it's light. So we can't even get in the house. Even if there was a warrant, we wouldn't be able to get in the house until the daylight. I was pissed.
Right, because you know that they're not supposed to
I'll just photocopy
execute warrants at nighttime. It's only during
I just want
business
everybody
hours.
gone.
All right.
Turn that
Have a good
off.
night, okay?
Me too. The only reason,
Turn that off.
yeah.
There's barking orders.
Turn
The
that off,
only
Terry.
reason,
Barking.
I know I have a bad habit of that. The only reason I agreed to talk to him is because my dad always said, ask for a sergeant, right? And the lieutenant is on the fucking their little thing saying there's nothing we can do. You cannot get in that house. And even one of the cops was like, they got that house locked down tighter in Fort Knox. Yeah, you fucking right. So when they come here now, those motherfuckers are picking straws because they fucking hate me. I record them, everything. We even do the sheriff. We don't do their sheriff cars anymore because we used to tent all their cars. After that incident, that same night, I'll never forget that night. I came in my house and my daughter-in-law was here and she's like, Tiffany, I'm scared to leave. I'm scared they're going to follow me home. I said, they're not going to follow you home. So she drove around my neighborhood and called me and was like, they're gone. I did a Freedom of Information Act that night. I didn't go to sleep because I said, I'm going to sit right in front of this motherfucker. So if they kick this door and they're going to kick me over in the chair and I'm going to wake up. So I did a Freedom of Information Act. And the next day I called the president of the NAACP. It was like 7 a.m. So you are not going to believe this shit. So I told him what happened. So he called the sheriff. And the sheriff was like, we're getting ready to put out an Amber Alert. He called me back. He's like, oh my God, Tiffany, they're going to put out an Amber Alert. I said, oh, they are they? Oh, I'll take care of that. So I called him. He wasn't in. He called me back 10 minutes later. And this is exactly what I said to him. Lenny, where's the removal order? Well, they said they had custody. I said, I don't care. Where's the removal order? I'm not going to argue with you, Miss Wise. We're getting ready to put out an Amber Alert. Here I go. I promise you, Lenny, and I guarantee you, if you put that Amber Alert out, that will be your very last one. He didn't put it out, and CPS left her alone, but they kept calling her. I got all the recordings. I got everything. And we whooped that ass in court and administratively. No, I don't put up with their shit. In fact, right before the day we were supposed to go to court, my husband got a call to go tint a race car. So we left. It was 100 degrees. I was hot. I was irritable. The baby was crying. And the tent would not work, right? It just, everything kept messing up. And my husband was like, there's something going on. So the guy comes out and is like, oh yeah, my wife's about to come home because they lived up on this hill. And he's like, just watch the baby. Now I've been there all day. This bitch gets out of her car and almost has a heart attack, sees me sitting in her garage. It's the fucking CPS worker. Just left my daughter's house. Right? So here I go. Because my lawyer said, stay the fuck away from the courthouse tomorrow, Tiffany. There's no court case over. So here she goes. I didn't know you all tenant. I see there's a lot about us you don't know. So she goes in the house. I go call my lawyer. I guess my lawyer thought I followed this bitch home. She's like, what the fuck are you doing at her house? I said, didn't I tell you that we had a job? I didn't know it was her house. So I called my daughter. And my lawyer's like, don't say one word to her. So I called my daughter. I said, when you want to sue this bitch, I got her address. Lives in a $600,000 house. She's like, Mom, shut the fuck up. You're not there. I said, I swear to God, I am sitting in her driveway. So now I'm like, babe, wow. Hurry up. He's like, oh, no. He's putting the tent on slow. He's like, let it burn. Let it burn. That bitch sees you sitting in her garage.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we won. That was hilarious. But people,
nice.
We laughed about it all the way home. God don't like ugly.
No, he does not. But yeah, that's it, man. That's the way you got to handle them. I mean, that's because they do forget that their authority only goes as far as us, the people, right? Like that's the way that's supposed to be, correct?
Yep. So it is government by the people, for the people.
I had to take that video. I called the prosecutor because I've known him for at that time 20 years. I said, we need to have a meeting. He said, okay, what day would you like to meet? So I met. So I said, but you need to bring the prosecutor from the city too. So I met with both prosecutors and I showed him. Derek didn't show the very beginning. He said, I clearly heard you. Ask them if they had a court order and they told you no. I clearly heard you tell them to leave and the police told you they weren't going anywhere. He frowned up his feet, said, you have every right to tell the police to get the fuck off your property. I'm calling the sheriff and this is unacceptable.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. So that's what you got to do then. The bottom line is if they're not doing what's proper, use the chain of command and do it right just do it right. Because that is your right. You know, you don't have to do it in a respectful or whatever. I guess you do it however you please. But you know, like that's what you need to do. You can't waver on this shit. You can't be about it and then they leave and then you don't follow up with your complaints. You need to follow up with the complaints because too much of the time people are like, I'm gonna do this and this and this and this, and no one does their thing. And then nothing gets done and they get away with there's a reason why we're at where we're at now, that they're doing this stuff. And it's because people have let them get involved in their business for too long. And no one's done a damn thing.
Well, people don't know their rights. You know, they don't teach us our rights in schools. We don't teach our children about the Constitution. We're told that it's just too complicated for us normal peasants to understand. Only people that go to law school can understand it. And even they argue about it and as if it's somehow vague. It's really not. Once you get into it,
simple.
It's pretty freaking
if you
straightforward.
Take the Constitution as the Constitution, the way that they wrote it, It was made for simple-minded because people were not educated back then. It was very simple. Look, you have a right to do this. 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 That's it. There you go. This is our country. But now they've added all of these, these things, these side notes, amendments, all of this shit to this, added new stuff to it, making it longer, making it shorter, or whatever they've done to these, to change it around. And now they have overcomplicated these things. They have made these things more like, wait a minute, what do you mean I have the freedom of speech? What does that entail? No, it never meant what does it entail. It meant that you have the right to say whatever you want and whatever premise that you wanted to say it, and so on and so forth, about whomever you wanted. And as a matter of fact, it's an obligation to use your freedom of speech to report on the government doing corruption things. When they're working against us, it's our obligation as an American to speak out against them and say, look, this is what they're doing. And then that's part of that free speech thing that everybody has forgotten about. You have to do these things, and it's not being anti-American. It's not being anti-anything. If anything, it's being pro-Constitution, which is as ridiculous as it gets.
Exactly.
This is when I went to court, right? Because they brought me in as a joiner because I wouldn't tell them where my daughter was, because at the time she was 31. I'm not her fucking babysitter. That's what I told them. Grandma's belligerent, screaming constitutional rights, civil rights, and human rights. I said I sure was, and I'm not backing down.
Yeah. When did that become a bad thing? Like, we live in America, and now you're dealing with people, and this is very common. And when you start talking about the Constitution, they act like you're some sort of extremist, and
right?
Like you're out of line.
Right. Yeah.
Don't
you pull that First Amendment on me, Mister. You terrorist. You are a terrorist, sir.
I was watching TV one night. I was watching an old rerun of one of the cop shows. I think it was NYPD Blue, if I remember correctly. And when you watch these shows, America, think carefully about when you watch police shows. The police will completely ignore the Constitution. In every episode, they'll go up to people and they'll say, "You need to come down to the station with us and answer some questions." No, I sure as hell don't. Am I under arrest? Because if not, no, hell no. You can ask me questions right here if you want to. I might choose to answer your questions, or I might not. I'm not under any obligation to answer your questions or to talk to you or to go anywhere with you, but they do it every time. And then if you're not cooperative, what do? They get belligerent and nasty, don't they? And one episode, Jimmy Smits I don't know if you guys remember this actor, Jimmy Smits. He played in LA Law, big, good-looking Hispanic dude. And he's talking to this construction worker who they think is some sort of a suspect. They're asking questions, and he goes, "You're going to have to come down to the station and answer some questions." And one of the guys beside him goes, "Hang on a second." He goes, "We live in America and we have the Constitution here. He doesn't have to go with you anywhere." And freaking Dennis Franz looks at the guy, and I don't remember exactly what he said. It may have been Jimmy Smith. One of them looks at the guy and basically says, "I'm going to knock your teeth down your throat if you keep throwing that Constitution in my face." This is how we are. If you speak about it, you are throwing it in their faces. And now he's mad and really literally threatened to bash the guy's face in. That's the America we're living in right now, because that's what we've cultivated, just like you said, Darren.
Yep. Dana, just so you know, Renee says, "Dana, because of you, I have a sign for my protest that says we are constitutional Americans."
Nice.
Yes, sir.
Fuck yeah, I love it.
You're making differences already, buddy. Been here one episode and look at you go.
Good.
I mean, isn't that the rule? As long as we get one person to do it, so that means the episode's over. We got one.
Yes.
Just hanging up.
Yeah. And a lot of the times when I'm feeling discouraged, which I have a lot, I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm feeling a lot of times I feel like I'm just beating my head against the wall. But, every once in a while, someone comes out and says, "Hey, listen, I saw you. I heard your speech. I saw, a live stream you did. And, I really appreciate what you said." And sometimes, just like Renee, they'll say, "Hey, you helped me, and if I can help you, good, because, your rights are mine. You learn to defend your rights." And we see that line of occurrences of people losing their rights that's been going up steadily. We see that start going back down. And I want to see it snowball. I want to see everyone in America knowing their rights and being able to articulate those rights, it makes a huge difference in your interactions. You know, Tiffany's behaving on that video in a way that most people would never do, never speak to police that way, right? Why? Because they're afraid. And why? Because they don't know their rights. They're not grounded. You're grounded on the Constitution. You say what you need to say. They can't arrest you for telling them to get the fuck off your property. It's not a crime. They can't arrest you for refusing to tell them where your daughter is if you are in fact refusing. That's not a crime. And they can't take your children because that is a crime. It's kidnapping. It's plain and simple. And the agents have no authority to do it. And if you know how to talk to them, you know how to say these things, you're going to see them back off. A lot of the times you will see them back off. So it helps
there
everyone.
were 12 of them here. 12 of them with one CPS worker, and I marched all of them down off my property. I told them, and see, people don't understand, right? And why I changed it from private property to real property, because private property is movable and real property is not movable. So why are you on my real property? And I got trespassing all over my yards. People think I'm crazy over here.
Well, I mean, I don't think that's just because of the trespassing.
My neighbor was like, "What time did all this happen?" I said, "You didn't hear me screaming out there?" She's like, "No, I was sound asleep." I said, "Jesus Christ." I thought everybody heard me, but it didn't matter. I will talk shit to them when they fucking disrespect me and don't listen to me. Because this is what happened. She told them that we left AMA against medical advice. We did not leave against medical advice. So when I got the paperwork, that sergeant was like, my badge of authority was clearly on my chest. And I had to say this: nobody has authority over me but me. And the day that you let people take authority over you, you lose.
Mm-hmm. That's the truth right there. We lose. It's not just that you lose, it's we lose for sure.
Right. I don't let.
Well, I mean, we need to remember that there are legitimate law enforcement does have authority, but what happens is they ignore the line a lot. You know, if you commit a crime and they show up with a warrant and it's a legitimate warrant, then they are within their authority. But what we do is we let them just do whatever they want. And they don't have the authority to do a lot of the things they do. They just do it anyway. And that's why they show up in force, because then people get intimidated and allow them to walk all over us and strip us of our rights. So, but their authority has a clear line where it ends. You know, they do not have any right to steal your child, to kidnap your child. They don't have any right to demand that you come out or stand here. You know, that people are big on orders. Police give you orders, move over there, do this, do that. They don't have any authority to order you around. Don't submit. Tell them you have no authority to order me around. And am I under arrest? If not, piss off.
So check this out. Brittany Etheridge says, sorry, Dana, it covers up your face. It almost does me too, but I'll just give it for a second. It says, hey, all, I'm so thankful for you all because I'm in Tennessee and CPS has my kids in foster care and won't return them, even though we have done everything and even extra, and they removed our babies without any warrant and documentation, and the father and I have, I think it says, never failed a drug test for them either. Man, see, this is the stuff that they're getting away with. Like, like they make false promises. Now, first of all, they're not allowed to lie. The police are allowed to lie to you, which I think is bullshit anyway. Why is it that the police are allowed to, like, what kind of...
Well, let's be careful with our verbiage. The police don't get into trouble if they lie to you. So there's no law against it. There's no rule against it.
But their training, what they do, but their training does have instances of training you how to speak on both sides of the coin. Isn't that true? So yes. They're allowed to lie to us. I mean, their training tells them that they can lie. So, I mean, like pretty much that's giving them the green light, I would say.
Okay, so this is the only word people should know when they talk to the police. Lawyer. Lawyer.
Yeah, if you don't know what you're doing, absolutely.
No, even if you do know what you're doing.
Yeah, lawyer. I just do this. This is my routine right here. My wife's gonna be pissed. That's about all they get out of me. She may leave me this time. You know, I'm not worried about them.
I thought you crossed that
I'm
bridge a
not worried
long
about
time
them. I'm
ago.
worried about the phone call that I got to make to her. That's what really makes me all freaking nervous about that shit. My rights do get violated, and the Constitution goes right out the window when it comes to my wife being pissed off with me in the police interaction. That's for sure. Oh man. So yeah. Let's see. What else do we see? Renee says, same here. I comply and do what is on the service plan and give clean urine. Still, they won't give them back. Now, here's my thing about the urines, right? So, to be in the United States military, to drive a tank, to drive a Apache helicopter, to drive a $6 billion jet, you got to take a drug test when you go into the service, and that's it. But yet, they're making these people do it day in and day out, week after week. They're putting back to back to back hair follicle tests down. All because what? Hair follicle tests are only good. Number one, they don't even show you a current drug usage thing. It goes back 4 to 5 to 6 days, something like that. And then it goes on and it shows you 6 months back. But why are they stacking them? These people are doing, 1, 2, and 3 of these, like in a row. It makes no sense. You know why? Because they cost beaucoup bucks to do, man, to get those things analyzed. And I'd love to find out how much they're charging LabCorp, or LabCorp is charging DHS to do these screens and all this, because here's the thing, screens aren't even submissible in court. So don't even be scared of that stuff unless it's an actual drug test, people. It's no good in the courtroom. So they can't even use that evidence against you. Screens are not usable in court, only tests.
And you shouldn't be doing one anyway without a warrant, because it's still part of your bodily fluids.
Yes.
It's part of you.
Right.
Yes.
Right, which is right, David. Sorry.
Well, not only that, it's a violation of the Constitution because you're being compelled to give evidence against yourself. So we should never have ever said it was okay for anyone to demand a drug test anyway, unless you have a warrant.
Yep, that's the
or
truth.
unless you're on probation or parole, then you got to comply.
But you shouldn't even. Well, I mean, I guess in that case, because you're ordered by the judge not to do it. But even still, that's still under the Roe versus Wade. That's your right. That's your protection under that stuff. I mean, that's the good thing about bringing that thing back.
When you sign those papers on parole and probation, you pretty much have to give up your rights, because it's an extension of prison.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
It certainly is. You're absolutely right, and it absolutely says that. That's why they still call it. You're still part of community corrections or house of corrections or whatever.
Right. That's the only time that I had to do drug tests was for the federal government, because, like I told you, when I would piss for CPS, it would come up dirty, but 2 hours later, I pissed for the federal government, I'm clean. So my parole officer was like, absolutely not. You will piss one time, and we will distribute the drug test results. So that's how I caught CPS forging my drug test, because that would have been a violation of my parole, and I was not trying to go back to prison.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good practice, Tiff. Do you know where all of this drug testing stuff came up and why, and all? When all this came about and what they did? I put it up on the website today, so I'm glad that we kind of broke into this. But a lot of this stuff came from the Family First Prevention Act of 2018. Well, it came in longer than that,
really?
But do you know that 84 or 61% of the children that are taken by CPS right now come from substance abuse, people of substance abuse? No, I know that. I know, Tiff, I know what they say. I know that the Supreme Courts have ruled to say that
drug use alone is not enough to remove a child, because then you look at the behavior of the parent and not the harm of the child. So they are not even allowed to remove a child from a drug addict parent unless the child is in harm. It's clear. It's in black and white.
Okay, so if the child gets a hold of drugs, though, does that put them in harm? There's the question. And that's what I think a lot of them go by, is so the drugs can someday be in reach, but that's not fair to use the crystal ball either, or the whatever they call that theory. That's because you could leave the caseworker to walk out of there from taking my kid, walk across the street, both of them get hit by a bus, and I'd just be like, you didn't see that coming either, did you? Now you killed my kid. So where was that imminent danger by having this caseworker take it? You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. So you can't use that in the future thing because you know the 7% of the drug users you know about, 93% you don't. They're all functioning addicts in this community. You'll never know who they are until you go to a recovery meeting, and then you see all kinds there. You know, not every person that uses drugs sitting there in a dumpster with a needle hanging out of their arm robbing grandma. That's not the picture of an addict. You know what I mean? Like this is the way you know, and but this stuff, do you know that if you are in treatment alone already, that CPS is supposed to leave you alone? They're supposed to back right off.
I
Yep,
didn't know
they're
that.
supposed to back right off of
No
you.
kidding.
And if they put you into treatment, they're supposed to make it so that your kid now comes with you to whatever treatment facilities they're in. So if they send you to a drug and alcohol retreat or you know, a program out, you know, wherever, that kid is, they're supposed to arrange it so that your family is not broken apart, therefore that they do not put any more added stress onto you or to put any sort of uh, what's the word that's called, a stigma onto you. You know, because this is the thing that they do. The number one thing in recovery is having a peer group, right? A group around you that will support you and show that you're doing good, you know, like everything's right and it's solid for you. They break your family apart. So how do you expect someone that's been an addict for 20 years or whatever, and you're finally forcing them to not be an addict anymore, but then you're going to remove their family from them? What did you even give them for an incentive now? Because they think that they incentivize it by taking away. That's not how the addict's mind work. Now it's like, fuck this. They took away anything that matters to me. So I'm going to go back to using, even though I made up my mind that I wasn't going to for this. So they do this all ass backwards. And for them to get Title IV funding, it says right here, America Save Family, or Americans, the Family First Prevention Services Act, that they need to follow these rules or Title IV funding isn't for them. And they are not doing any of that. I printed out the whole guide. I put it on the website today, cpsbreakingnews.com. It's on there. I have a whole section of all of this stuff because if you are an addict out there and they are putting you up against these things, you have rights. Don't let them belittle you. Don't let them take away anything that you've worked hard towards. Don't let you feel like you're a piece of shit because you have failed nothing. You know, every addict will, every part of recovery, anybody that knows recovery is the number one part of recovery is relapse. An addict will relapse. You know, I hope that they don't, but they will. It's almost a guarantee that the addicts, their first through 8, I think the statistics are 8 times before they'll actually stick to a program. And I figure that probably about the time that you're 70 and you're going to die anyway, so you don't even care about the stuff.
Well, here's the thing: they put you in these 30-day or 28-day programs, right? And scientifically, you cannot stay clean unless you are clean for 12 plus months because your brain and your chemicals are so imbalanced, right? So if you're not in a 12-month or plus program, it doesn't matter how many programs you go to, unless you're consistent with 12 plus months, you're going to relapse anyway.
Right. And have changed your life that way and all of that. There's so many pieces to this that, but say a recovering addict gone through all this stuff, they don't get their kids back. What do you think is going to happen to them when they don't get their rights?
They're going to relapse. That's automatic.
Right. Yeah.
But I want people to understand, it doesn't matter what system you're in, CPS, child support, parole, jail, it doesn't matter. The whole system is set up to make everybody fail because if we keep succeeding, there's not going to be any money.
Right.
Right. It's all about the money.
And this keeps them in a constant, state of you're gonna, once CPS gets in, I'm not trying to curb anybody, and this is for education only, guys. Don't forget, education purposes only and entertainment and all those other fun things that it's not supposed to be because of whatever. So
we're not lawyers. None of us are lawyers. None of us claim to be lawyers.
But we're not there yet. But it keeps you in this repetitive path of failure because now you're under scrutiny the entire time.
Yes.
Now you've got to come up to someone else's standard or not their standard, and they can lie about you. So you're just in this constant revolving door of bullshit. And that's not what you do. You don't do that to these people. Renee says, Rochelle says, I have put myself in patient. Let me see. I'll read it this way. Sorry. It says, I have put myself in inpatient for mental illness for these peoples, and they said I would get my child back, which was a lie. That's another thing. They always lie about that. If you and your husband separate because he's abusive, we'll give you your kid back. Go ahead, just leave him. Kick him to the curb. You know, we got this, girl. Me and you. We'll do. You know, we're team us, not him. Let's separate
Darren,
him out. It's ridiculous.
how do you know when a CPS worker's lying?
There
When
you
their
go.
lips are moving.
There it is.
Well, this is why it's so important to make sure everything is in writing. Okay, and you can never completely eliminate the possibility of tyranny in whatever form. So they're going to lie and they're going to kidnap your child. And they're going to do what they're going to do. At the end of the day, if they're going to be really flagrant about it, you may not be able to stop it, but it will help you tremendously to have everything in writing. Any promises they make, any communication they have to you, you need to tell them, put it in writing and send it to you. Otherwise, it's worth the paper it's written on.
Email it, please. Every correspondence we have is an email. That's it. Period.
Document.
Right.
Document. So
awesome. That's good stuff.
Yep.
When they open their mouth, that's how you know they're lying. That's right, Renee.
Yep. As soon as
you know
they're
what,
talking.
real quick on the different subjects. I know we're at our hour point, and it's about time to wrap this thing up. But Tiff, how did today go?
What, at my house?
Yes. Does anybody else notice how quiet Tiffany's house was this evening?
Oh, my house went great once. Okay, so my dad is a retired police officer, and I told him about my little 3-year-old terrorist that I live with, right? And he's like, well, I can tell you something that's not child abuse. And I was like, what? He said, get a bottle of water, a spray bottle. He said, at any time he screams, squirt him in his mouth. So it only took twice. He hasn't screamed. He hasn't thrown and clocked anybody in their face with anything today. I even squirted the dog when she, because of the cat. Oh, yeah, I love my spray bottle. I'm going to carry that bitch in the store and everywhere from here on out.
That's funny shit. Dan, what do you got to say for the night, huh? Anything? You have fun your first night on here with us?
Yeah, man, it's always a pleasure, and I'm really glad that we met, and you know, I feel like we're slowly accumulating a pretty decent tribe of people, and I feel like we're really starting to kind of get a little bit of momentum pushing in the right direction. So cautiously optimistic. Definitely want to thank you for that, because you're a hardworking guy, and you know, you're kind of in your element. I mean, I really feel like you're on a path that's a good path for you, and you know, I applaud you, and I'm always here to help you.
So Dana's here with us, guys, every Thursday night now. He will be here and in his bid for retirement and all of that. Do you look, you know what? This is going to come to something that you're going to be like, I'm retired now, but Thursday nights, I got to do the Tiff and Punisher show. We'll have to call it Tiff, Punisher, and Citizen that night. T-Pack. Yeah, it's not T-Pack, it'll be T-Pack, right? Tiff, Punisher, and Angry Citizen. So that's what we'll call it. So,
nice. Yeah, T-Pack. I love it.
So yeah, and we need to. I'll have to make a song now for Thursdays. Thursdays will have to be a special song. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll get an Angry Citizen on it. But guys, Tiff, tomorrow 11:30. What time?
I'll call you. Depends on what time he goes to take a nap.
All right, guys. We'll be on tomorrow, Friday. Angry Citizen will not be with us. If you guys want to check him out during the week when he's not here, it's Angry Citizen at BitChute, right? And then it's what's your website?
Yeah, it's the Angry Citizen. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on BitChute, and the website is theangrycitizen.org. It's under construction because someone stole my original domain. So, but it'll have some stuff on there.
Sweet. Go check him out, guys. Other than that, we'll see y'all tomorrow. Thanks again. Have a good night.
She beats them down with her knowledge, better than the kids who are in college. The Punishers abolish all the way. He's been here 4 years, they took his daughter away. He came from the darkness he was in. Now it's time to make parenting great again. Together they are making a commotion, telling all the parents use the Constitution potion. You have rights, did you know? Learn to use them on Tiff and Punisher show. We all admit the times are hard. No little children in the front yard. Tiff and Punisher are fighting so hard. They're waging war, on their side is God. They don't stop if they get trouble. They fighting for the children, double trouble. The strength they need, they get from each other. They had each other's back like sister and brother. They are Tiff and the Punisher, saving the families from corruption. They want you to join their movement, no repercussion. You need to learn that thing called the Constitution. Inside that document is our solution. CPS, we have your number. We are coming for you, hear our thunder. Your fate is sealed, have a nice day. You won't break another family. No more trauma for kids, that's like blasphemy. Keep your thoughts to your own ideals. Soon enough, you'll be clicking your heels. Because you need to go to jail. All of us fathers will be chugging down an ale. The mothers will squeeze their young ones tight as CPS workers are locked down for the night. They had a choice, they didn't make. Now they spend their days in crates. They should know it's wrong to kidnap. So from all of us, this is your payback. Here's a couple people you should know. Tiff and the Punishers, they show they wanna stop CPS from stealing our kids, fighting beside us and trying to guide us. Tiff has a heart of gold. She blasts these caseworkers when they are wrong. She beats them down with her knowledge, better than the kids who are in college. The Punishers abolish all the way. He's been here 4 years, they took his daughter away. He came from the darkness he was in. Now it's time to make parenting great again. Together they are making a commotion, telling all the parents use the Constitution potion. You have rights, did you know? Learn to use them on Tiff and Punisher show. That's all we need to get on with this fight. The document that most people court barely read in light. Pick the parts that pertain to your case, show them the results and spit in their